Hi, I'm Christopher and today I will be presenting to you the hot water pressure cleaner. The hot water pressure cleaner is a highly effective pressure cleaning system. It delivers water up to 200 degrees Celsius at pressures up to 3,500 psi. Keeping this in mind, there are some very real dangers which pose serious hazards for the user, bystanders, and nearby property. Only operate the hot water pressure cleaner if you have been trained, deemed qualified, and feel confident in its operation. Retraining and advice will be happily given upon request. A minimum standard of PPE must be used while operating or working near the machine. This includes ear and eye protection. You may use gumboots, waterproof overalls, and gloves if you wish. The engine and burner produce a lot of heat. Never place any items on top of the machine when in use, as they can be destroyed and cause damage to the machine. Only use the hot water pressure cleaner in a well-ventilated area. As this machine produces carbon monoxide, it may lead to poisoning in a confined space. Be aware the hose, gun, and other components of the machine will get hot with use. Be careful not to burn yourself. Never point the water jet towards a person or something you don't intend to get wet. Before we start the machine, there are important checks which need to be done. These are best done when the engine is cold. The first step is to check the oil of the pump motor. Unscrew the dipstick and wipe it clean with a rag. Then place the dipstick back and remove it. The oil level should be halfway between the marked area on the dipstick. If the oil level is low, add clean oil from the toolkit, 100 ml at a time, and check again. Alternatively, tag the machine out of order and inform maintenance. Next we will check the fuel levels. It's important to understand that this machine runs on two different types of fuels. The first being regular unleaded petrol and the second being diesel, the burner. Unscrew the fuel tank cap on top of the motor. Remove the fuel filter and visually inspect the fuel level inside of the tank. Replace the filter and add any fuel if necessary. Wipe up any spills as soon as possible. The water heater on this system runs only on diesel. It's very important that you don't put any petrol in the tank. So to inspect the tank, take off the lid, visually inspect the inside of it and add diesel if necessary. Wipe up any spillages as soon as possible. Next we'll pick our hose and we need to pay particular attention to the fittings, that the O-ring is still there and in good condition. We'll also check the hose body for any rips or cuts or anything out of the ordinary that might be dangerous. If you do find any of that, tag the hose out. Inspect the pressure gun for any damage, loose fittings or bent barrels. Remember that there's 3,500 psi of hot water going through this, so if something was to break as you're holding it, it can be very dangerous. Ensure all the correct hose fittings are on the machine. This can include male and female hose ends. Check the condition of the tyres and add air if necessary. 20 psi should be okay. Check that you have all the relevant safety equipment to operate the machine safely. This can include gum boots and gloves. First connect the water inlet from the tank or the mains water supply. Connect the hose to the outlet fitting of the burner, but don't connect the gun just yet. Use a spanner in the toolbox to gently nip up the connection so it doesn't leak. Don't over tighten it. Turn on the mains and let the water flush through the system for between 1 and 2 minutes. There's a bit of air in the thing too. sure that all that blocks up the nozzles. Once clear water can be seen coming out of the hose, turn off the mains and attach it to the gun. Once connected, turn the mains back on, squeeze the trigger and observe water flow from the end of the nozzle. Locate the pressure valve on the pump and rotate it anti-clockwise in order to reduce the pressure. The next step is to turn on the fuel. Apply the choke if the motor is cold. The next step is to turn the throttle to full. Next we will select a nozzle and attach it to the end of the gun. Make sure that it's clicked in. To start the machine, squeeze the trigger of the gun and at the same time important to let the machine idle for 2 to 3 minutes so it warms up completely. For demonstration purposes, I've turned the engine off so you can hear me. But once you've started the engine, it's important to cut the choke off and reduce the engine RPMs back to an idle. It's important to let the engine run for 2 to 3 minutes to let it warm up properly. Before we start work, we need to increase the pressure again. So we'll twist the pressure valve all the way. And then we'll back it off 1.5 turns. It's important that you do not run it at maximum pressure, otherwise you can damage the pump. To operate the burner, turn the switch to its on position and adjust the temperature. It's important to know that the burner will automatically kick in once you squeeze the trigger of the gun.